Hello all, and welcome back to Time to Dice Character Creation, where we make your favorite fictional characters in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. It's still Environmental Awareness Month, and that means we're still designing our characters to raise awareness for a particular topic. This week's topic is overpopulation. One of the main arguments you will hear against taking an active stance for the environment is that humankind got by fine for centuries without needing to fight climate change and similar issues. And while that may be true, it's important to realize every generation there's more people on this planet than there ever has been in history. We quite literally are running out of resources and space, and every generation is just going to become harder and harder, at least until we can colonize the moon or other planets. But that seems like it's still pretty far off. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just gain all the benefits of having a bunch of people working on the same problem, but didn't have to worry about sustaining those people on the day to day? Okay, actually, now that I say that out loud, it sounds like I'm talking about wiping out a whole bunch of people after we're done with them. That's not what I meant. I'm just trying to segue into our character today, Naruto Uzimaki. Naruto is a ninja of the Hidden Leaf Village, despite the fact that his personality starts off as, well, to be honest, just the worst. He has the dream of becoming the Hokage one day. That's like the ninja president for all of you who don't watch the show. He obtains many abilities throughout the show, but the first and most iconic is the Shadow Clone Jutsu, allowing him to create 9 infinite copies of himself to accomplish a task. At the cost of each of those copies can only take one good hit before vanishing back into the ether, letting him overpower his enemies with sheer numbers. So, beware of spoilers, and without further ado, let's get started. Alright, some builds on this channel are difficult because they're so single-minded. Yes, Elsa has ice powers. We can get that at level 1. What do we do for 19 more levels? Well, Naruto has an opposite problem. All ninjas get training in hand-to-hand combat, and while Naruto isn't winning any taijutsu competitions on his own anytime soon, he can definitely hold his own more than the rank and file people in his universe. But then you get into the ninja magic. Naruto can summon copies of himself to defeat his opponents, use his chakra to climb up vertical surfaces and walk on water, and even summon frogs the size of skyscrapers. We are going to have difficulty getting all of that into one build. And all of that's not even counting Naruto's special benefit that he has a super powerful demon sealed inside of him, letting him draw on an entire new pool of chakra. Needless to say, if we want to replicate everything that Naruto has to offer, we have our work cut out for us. But all of that power comes from the smallest of beginnings, which is why we're starting human. I considered going Kitsune for the fox flavoring, but the Ancestry doesn't really give us anything we need for this build. So, as a human, we pick up 8 hit points, a boosted Dex and Con, and we pick up the skilled heritage, because we're not getting a high intelligence or a skill heavy class, much to the shock of all the people who just thought we were going rogue, because rogues are ninjas. The Hidden Leaf Village trains its youth to become warriors of destruction, learning how to use powerful techniques to defend its land. I'm pretty sure there's a war crime in there somewhere, but we're just going to move past that and take the warrior background. This background gives us a boost to Dex and Con, as well as training in intimidation and warfare lore. And finally, we get the intimidating glare skill feat, letting us intimidate our foes across language barriers. Not that that really matters, Naruto appears to be one of those worlds where everybody speaks the same language. That's lucky. For our class, like I said, we're not going rogue. Though, between you and me, if my wife asks, this is a rogue build. Because if she finds out we're making another monk, I'll never hear the end of it. As a monk, we're going to get 10 plus con hit points per level, as well as expert in all saving throws. Monks are one of the most defensive classes around, but we only pick up training and perception as a result. We also only get 4 plus our intelligence skills of our choice. We don't get training in any weapons, but in exchange, we're expert in unarmed defense. And finally, we pick up training in the monk class DC, which we'll need later for some of our jutsus. For our attributes, our primary attribute is obviously going to be dexterity, letting us feel like a true ninja. Next, our con stat is at 3. Naruto can take quite a beating and still get up, asking for more. Strength and charisma are both at a +1. Strength to reflect our ability to one-shot foes like Neji, and charisma because, well, we can be a little bit loud sometimes. Say what you want about Naruto, but he definitely has a strong personality. For our skills, we're going to wind up legendary in both Arcana and Acrobatics. Acrobatics is kind of a no-brainer here, but Arcana might seem a little strange, until you realize that 60% of the show is just Naruto in various different training arcs learning how to use new magic. We also get Master in Stealth and Deception, basic skills every ninja needs. For our trained skills, we also pick up training in Athletics, intimidation, warfare lore, nature, society, and thievery. These are all skills that Naruto is generically good at, but doesn't show any distinction at within the ninja universe. Well, except for nature. Nature is just because he likes frogs. Alright, for level 1, all monks get Flurry of Blows and Powerful Fist. Powerful Fist upgrades our fist damage to d6s, as well as lets us lethally attack with those fists. And Flurry of Blows lets us make 2 unarmed strikes with a single action. But before you get too excited, remember, multiple tackle penalty applies normally to these attacks. We're also going to use Natural Ambition in order to pick up 2 class feats. Monastic Weaponry will let us do shurikens and kunai for a bit of range damage, and the Key Spells feats lets us pick up Ki Rush, letting us do that Naruto run, striking twice in a single action, as well as getting concealment for a round. We're going to pick up the Power of a Jinchuriki at level 2 with the Living Vessel Dedication feat, giving us the Entity's Resurgence action. Now, when we get knocked down to 0 hit points, Kurama can have a go, leaving us with 1 hit point remaining, plus temporary hit points equal to our level plus our dexterity modifier. However, we cede control over to Kurama while having these temporary hit points, and all of our attacks gain a +1 status bonus to attack rolls and damage rolls. At level 3, we get the Fleet General feat, increasing our speed by 5 feet. We also get Mystic Strikes, letting us infuse our punches with chakra, counting our attacks as magical. That's not really how chakra works in the show, but just roll with it. We also get Incredible Movement, giving us another 10-foot bonus to our speed. That's 15 feet extra in just 1 level. And we get 5 more feet every 3 levels that we grow past level 3. Moving on to level 4, we get Entity Strike, meaning whenever Kurama takes control, he can magically make a claw strike that does a d6 damage, is agile, finesse, and magical. That's identical to what our punches already do, except it does slashing damage. We're really only picking this up because we can upgrade it later. However, at level 5, we get Haughty Obstinacy. This Ancestry feat prevents us from being mind controlled. However you want to flavor this is fine, whether it's simply the strength of will or Kurama's influence has granted you some resistance over other influences. We also get expert in both perception proficiency and unarmed strikes, with perception expertise and expert strike respectively. At level 6, we get the Rasengan with advanced key spells, giving us the Ki Blast focus spell. This spell does force damage, and we can spend extra actions to power it up. With 1 action, Rasengan. With 2 actions, Rasen Shuriken. With 3 actions, a Tailed Beast Bomb. It's a shame we had to pick this up before we even got Shadow Clones, but hey, we work with what we got. At level 7, we get the Toughness General feat, so that we can take a little bit more of a beating, as well as our first path to perfection, which we'll use to boost reflex saves to master, as well as counting all of our successful reflex saves as critical successes. And we also get the Weapon Specialization, giving us a small boost to both our unarmed strikes and weapons that we're expert in. At level 8, we get Wall Run, letting us learn a bit of basic chakra control, letting us use our next action to run up trees. Just make sure you get to solid ground before your chakra runs out. At level 9, we're going to pick up the Multi-Talented Ancestry feat to get Sorcerer Dedication with the Imperial Bloodline to allow us to access cantrips. Bullhorn lets us announce to the world that we're going to become the next Hokage, and Gouging Claw lets Kurama take a strike even when he isn't fully in control. We also get Metal Strikes at this level, letting our attacks count as cold iron or silver. This isn't really in character, but oh well. Oh, and one last thing. Monk Expertise boosts our DCs of all of our key spells to Expert. Getting our spellcasting archetype so late means that when we pick up basic sorcerer spellcasting at level 10, we get ranks 1, 2, and 3 spells all in one level. So buckle up as we cover these. For rank 1, we can take Draw Ire to draw focus away from our allies and onto ourselves. We also get Illusory Disguise, letting us use Transformation Jutsu. For our rank 2 spells, we finally get access to Shadow Clones with the Mirror Image spell and the Phantom Crowd spell. Shadow Projectile lets us cooperate with our allies to get a bit of extra damage, while Wooden Double is straight up a substitution jutsu. It couldn't be any more substitution jutsu if it tried. Moving on to level 11, the Die Hard feat shows Naruto's impressive resilience a bit more, surviving up to dying 5 rather than dying 4. We also get our second path to perfection, increasing our fortitude saves to master, as well as automatically upgrading our successes to critical successes. Not only does Naruto have the Nine-Tailed Fox chakra to draw from in battle, but the Uzumaki clan famously has huge reserves of chakra, so at level 12, we'll pick up the Bloodline Breath feat in order to double our spell slots for all but our 2 highest ranking spells. Level 13 nets us bounce back, letting us get back into the fray without increasing our wounded value once per day. We also get Graceful Master and Master Strike, boosting our proficiency to Master with both unarmed defense and unarmed strikes. We get rank 4 and 5 spells at level 14 with Expert Spellcaster. Let's pick up Summon Animal for our rank 4 spell so that we can summon Gamakichi when we need a hand. I don't particularly like any of the rank 5 spells, so let's go back and pick up Gecko Grip and Water Walk for some extra mobility regardless of the terrain. One of the lesser known benefits of having a 9-tailed fox spirit living inside of you is the healing factor, which we will replicate with the Robust Health General feat at level 15. We also get another boost of damage with Greater Weapon Specialization, and we can never critically fail a reflex save again with the third Path of Perfection, boosting our reflex saves to legendary, as well as halving the damage we take from any failed reflex saves. Because we took Expert Spellcasting at level 14, level 16 gives us rank 6 spells. Mislead lets us summon a Shadow Clone to keep the attention off of us when we plan our surprise attack. But far more impressive at this point, we can let Kurama break free of his seal with the feat Vessel's Form, making us large, as well as increasing our attack rolls and damage by +2. On top of that, we get 40 temporary hit points, and our entity strike damage increases to D8s rather than D6s. Everyone can see how far we've come at level 17, letting us pick up Heroic Presence, inspiring the entire village to build back better after Pain's attack. We also get Adamantine Strikes. Just like all the other Metal Strike options, this isn't really in character, but our attacks are now adamantine. Finally, we get Graceful Legend, making our unarmored proficiency legendary. Level 18, we can take Master Spellcasting, letting us push Shadow Clone Jutsu to the absolute limits with Shadow Raid, filling up a 30-foot burst with Shadow Clones. These Shadow Clones wail on any enemies in the area, dealing 68 damage, as well as 3d8 more damage at the end of each of their future turns. On top of that, all creatures in the area are concealed as you flood the line of sight with the copies of yourself. At level 19, we get Incredible Initiative, giving a +2 bonus to our initiative. This level would seem pretty boring if it didn't also give us Perfected Form, ensuring we can't roll less than a 10 on our first strike each round. This reflects some of the benefits of Sage Mode. To further replicate the benefits of Sage Mode, we get the key spell, Key Form. With this, we get a multitude of benefits, including adding a d6 of force damage to all of our attacks. All creatures who start their turn within 5 feet of us take an additional 2d6 force damage, and we can spend an action to expand this benefit to up to 30 feet. Oh, and we get access to the 9th rank spell Summon Elemental Herald, letting us summon Gamabuta to flood the battlefield with fire. Just make sure to bring your own explosive seal. Alright, time to cover skill feats. First off, as a ninja, we need to be comfortable jumping from treetop to treetop. This means plenty of acrobatics and athletic skill feats. Catfall and rolling landing ensure that falling isn't really a worry for us. Kip up ensures when we do fall, we can get back up without wasting an action, and tumbling teamwork lets us draw attention away from an ally, letting them move into a more advantageous position. For our athletic feats, Combat Climber ensures that we have our hands free when we're running up trees, and Quick Jump shortens the jump actions to 1 action rather than 2. Intimidating Glare is our only intimidation feat, allowing us to flash those Kurama eyes. And finally, we get plenty of stealth feats. Foil Senses, Shadow Mark, and Swift Sneak. You know, for catching cats. Alright, now that we're finished, let's take a look at the pros and cons. For starters, like our father before us, we are built for speed. With a 60-foot movement speed, we are fast enough to outspeed any characters not specifically designed to move quickly. And if foes can hit us, we definitely shouldn't be afraid to get into melee. With Mirror Image, a maxed out dex score, and legendary proficiency in unarmored defense, we really have nothing to fear from going toe to toe with a bad guy. And last, but absolutely not least, we have spellcasting that helps us in just about any form, whether it be Shadow Raid, dealing damage to hordes of enemies over a large area, or Key Blast, doing massive damage to 1 or 2 baddies that are closer together. For cons, as a monk, we don't have the massive damage boost that barbarians have, or the accuracy of a fighter, so we need to manage our expectations on what our punches can actually accomplish. Next, like most archetype spellcasters, our spellcasting DC isn't the highest. This is fine for most of our personal buff spells, but for spells like Draw Ire or Shadow Raid, they may not feel as powerful as they should. And finally, we have a bit of a redundancy problem. Two of our most powerful abilities are Key Form and Vessel's Form, which are both powerful, but they're both polymorph effects, meaning they can't stack with each other. We have to end up picking one or the other, which means the other class feat, a high level class feat might I add, is kind of not getting used. All in all, this is a pretty powerful build, with something to contribute to almost any combat, as well as a good number of options for both social and exploration scenes. The only thing that we could benefit from is a bit of healing, or maybe a way to read our opponent's moves. Oh, and it might be helpful to have someone with a bit more experience on your team as well. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, do the thing. I don't have to tell you at this point. You know what the thing is. It's subscribing. Did you know that? I, surely you knew that, right? I, it's like on every YouTube video. I think I might be rambling.